Well, hello there, dreamer, and welcome to episode 3 of the Phoenix Podcast with me, Jen Coffey, your flight attendant, helping you on this journey as you rise like the Phoenix from where you are to where you intend to be. Now, we are 3 episodes deep now, so we have been talking about the law of attraction. We have been talking about how to find out what it is we want if we don't know what we want. And now it's time to put all of this thinking into the physical world. It's time to make a vision board. So our topic in this episode will be vision boarding, vision board basics, vision board 101, if you will. It is something I've enjoyed quite a bit doing over the past 15 plus years now. I've made many a vision board, and I love helping other people do the same. But the thing is, it is a whole lot more, and frankly, a whole lot more important than just a bunch of pictures on a poster board or bulletin board. This is you building your blueprint for your future. And it is as serious as it sounds because it works. I mean, it works big time. In fact, it works even better than the bulletin board, the vision board will imply. If the saying, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it, rings true with you at all, it definitely rings true with the vision board, but in the very best way. So to begin talking about and getting ready to build our vision board, we're going to start, as we are starting all of our podcasts, with a quote that's going to help guide us and bring us back to home base as we get into the specifics of vision boarding. This one is really short, and yet it is really good. This quote kind of lays the groundwork for, not to put it too seriously, but is the foundation of a lot of the law of attraction writings and lectures and lessons that have been coming forth over the decades. And it is from one of the grandfathers of manifestation, Neville Goddard, whose writings and teachings I highly encourage you look into if you have the time. Most of them are free online now. But he really was a pioneer, a groundbreaker in making the whole idea of the law of attraction approachable and understandable to pretty much anyone. And the quote that we're going to use is only 4 words. Neville said, "Feeling is the secret." Feeling is the secret. Now, you may have heard of the book The Secret, the movie The Secret, and they reference this quote as well in The Secret. And it is the idea that, the truth really, that you can have an intention, you can have a goal, you can have a plan, but it's going to be hella hard to reach that goal, to execute that plan, if you are not driven by emotion, if you are not driven by passion, by love for it, by joy, by that feeling of connection to something or someone or someplace that you desire. You can plan it out, map it out, create that vision board even. But if you don't have the emotion, the feeling of having it already, you've basically unplugged the power cord to taking you from where you are now to where you want to be. So we'll keep that in mind as we talk about vision boarding, because if you put a bunch of pictures on a Pinterest board or cut a few things out and put them on the bulletin board, you're part of the way there. I would say probably 15%. But connecting to the feeling of having what you want is what is going to bring it to fruition. All right, so let's get down to it. All right, what are you going to need for your vision board? Here's one thing that I really love about goal getting. If you're utilizing things like the law of attraction or approaches in manifestation, you really don't have to spend that much money. Now, a lot of people will tell you otherwise. And look, I'm happy to be your coach one-on-one and have you pay for a session with me to talk about your specific goals. There are people who do make their careers in this field. But if you do enough reading, you do enough listening, and you take the initiative, it's really quite inexpensive. Here's a good example. To make your vision board, you can use, well, a blank wall if you wanted to that's in your own home, as long as you can put a couple of push pins or tape on there. Or you can go to the drugstore and buy a poster board, the kind that your kids are usually sending you out to buy at 10 o'clock the night before a project is due. Or you can go all out and get yourself a real pretty, fancy bulletin board, or one with a really fancy frame. It really doesn't matter. What matters is what's going on the vision board. Now, if you want to get that fancy bulletin board, just remember, the plan is to cover it up almost entirely, save for the frame. In other words, don't spend a lot of money on that fancy bulletin board, especially since you're probably going to find yourself wanting to make more than one with different categories. All right, so you've got the bulletin board or the poster board. We're going to gather up old magazines. You can either, do like I did and subscribe to a bunch of them so that you use that get a full year for $4.95 deal that they have going, and then you have a constant stream of magazines coming in. You can root around the house, ask your friends, ask your neighbors. Heck, in my neighborhood, there's a big recycle bin where people all put all the magazines and the mailers that they don't want. You can rifle through that. And you can also go to Pinterest. If you go to Pinterest.com and you've got a pretty good printer or access to one, you can print out some of the images that I'm going to be suggesting. So the media certainly is in abundance and doesn't have to be fancy. You'll need push pins or tape for your bulletin board. You'll need scissors, of course, to cut them out. This is all basic stuff that you've got sitting around. But I do have a couple of items that I would suggest as bonuses for a little bit of extra fuel for this visionary fire that you're creating. One is a white candle, and the other is a favorite rock or crystal that fits in the palm of your hand. I'll explain both of them. Maybe it's your birthstone, maybe it's just a beautiful crystal that you love. Rose quartz is said to be the stone that brings about love and self-love. Or you can research any of the different crystals and the chakras with which they align, or heck, it can just be a smooth stone that you picked up on a walk one day. Anything that makes you smile. All right. So we've got our board, our school supplies, our pictures, and if you don't know what pictures to look for yet, that's what we're going to talk about now. We have our candle, we have our crystal, we're good to go. Now, if you can, and again, I know this can be a challenge for a lot of us, find a space that is somewhat devoid of clutter, that's clear so you won't be distracted, and light that white candle. Now, whether you invest a lot of feeling in this or not, it just puts you in a more zen state. Many would say it helps to clear the energy in the space in which you're working. It just kind of sets the tone. Make yourself a cup of tea or coffee. This is all meant to be a very lighthearted and positive exercise. So the more that you can make it so, the better. In other words, what I don't want you doing is cramming this in between meetings. All right, you waited this long to make it. I want to make sure you're waiting until it is the right time. And if that right time is a 15-minute window that you have between what you're doing and picking up the kids from school, make it count. All right. So I've been asked many times if that vision board should be compartmentalized. Should it all be on one topic? Again, if we want to make this full of rules, we can. I'm just suggesting some guidelines and things that have worked for me in the past and for some of my clients, my coaching students. So for me, the most number of sections that we'd want to break this up into are going to be 4. All right. If we clutter it with more than that, it can be a little chaotic and we don't really know where to focus. 4, I would say, is the maximum. It can be 1, can be 2, can be 3. If there is one thing or one goal in particular that you are really gunning for, then girl, go for it. Make that whole board about that one thing. You want to manifest that dream partner? Make it your love board. You want to manifest that job and you know exactly what that job is? Make it your job board. And if you're just trying to manifest quite a few things, kind of like I am on any given day, it's okay. What I would suggest is to put them into sections though. So as you're looking at it, your thoughts, your emotions are all going to be centered on that one subject so that you can feel those feelings that much stronger. And we'll talk about feeling the feelings in a moment. What I want to do is help you brainstorm, get the juices going on what exactly you might break your vision board into, all right? And this can go back to the topic of our last podcast in which we talked about what it is you want. Hopefully you've been doing some of the exercises in that last podcast and have come up with some ideas of what it is you want. If you need a little help refining it, I made a list, so forgive me if I reference off to my right where I have it written down because it's kind of long. But I made a list of some categories that you might consider adding to your vision board. This, by the way, is also really great for those of you who have been vision boarding in the past and are feeling that you're at grad level manifestation and really are looking for new areas of your life to enrich. So here we go. Health is a great one. And I'm not talking about fitness, we'll get to that. Health is about, well, it's about your general health. Are you maybe ill or dealing with a health challenge right now? Are you dealing with aches and pains? Are you trying to overcome a long-term illness? Or do you find most of the time that you just lack the energy that you know you should have? Well, we're going to make health one of those categories if it's a priority for you. And this can involve images of people who are healthy, who are living the lifestyle that you imagine yourself having when you have that perfect health, right? If you feel burdened and weighted down by an illness right now, how would you move if you were suddenly healthy tomorrow? You can look for images of people who are living that lifestyle, or even images of a patient at a doctor's office with a smile on their face because they just received good news. Money. Now, this is referenced in that movie, The Secret, that for most manifestation coaches, they are asked almost immediately, ooh, I just found out about the law of attraction. Hey, how can it get me more money? First of all, I love that question, and I don't feel guilty for asking it myself. No one should. That's a subject for a future podcast. If you want more money in your life, we're going to put images that inspire you to feel like you have more money. Now, I put a little asterisk next to this category and another one that's coming up because I do want to put up a little bit of a warning sign, an alert, right? Beware, move with caution. We're not just putting pictures of money, all right? I mean, we could put a couple on there, that's fine. What we're trying to get to is the feeling. Remember, that's the secret. The feeling of what it likes to have more abundance in your life. So you can find an image, for example, of a man and woman walking towards the jetway of a really fancy plane, right? If they're taking that private flight, they probably have more money. So maybe instead we're looking for images that imply we have that abundance because it makes us feel the feelings of someone who has that abundance. And also make sure you're not putting pictures up there that make you feel bad about not having the abundance. We'll reconnect to this point too. All right, next category, home. Are you happy in the home that you're living in? Do you crave a new space, a bigger space, a remodeled space? There are plenty of magazines and Pinterest pictures out there that can help inspire you to imagine what your dream home would look like. Travel. All right. This one near and dear to my heart because I absolutely love travel, both nearby and very much not nearby. Get those travel magazines, pictures of exotic places that you crave living. If there's one in particular that you'd really love to go to, I highly recommend concentrating on that so that you can baby step your way into the manifesting of being able to go literally anywhere. Love. Okay, now if you follow me on social media, you know my story, you know that this one was a pretty recent manifestation of mine. And yes, the vision board helped tremendously. So images of couples holding hands, images of people who frankly maybe look like the kind of guy, the kind of gal that you'd want to be connected to. Romantic couples. I think of one image that I had on my love vision board for years. And I honestly, I think it may have been an advertisement for wine because that was the only product in the image, but it was a couple on a couch and they were dressed very casually, like jeans and t-shirt, but the male partner, he appeared to be a very strong person, but his head was being cradled on the shoulder of his female partner. And I just thought it was such a poignant image, this this very strong man being very vulnerable with a woman, and they were just lounging on the couch, relaxing and comforting each other, and they were each holding a glass of wine. It was the simplest thing. But I thought, that's what I want, that kind of ease of being ourselves and vulnerable and not necessarily going out on the town on a Friday night. We're just kicking back in our jeans, t-shirts, yoga pants, whatever, and having a glass of wine. So if it strikes you and it matches what you want, put it up there. It doesn't have to be fancy. Career. Okay, those of you who maybe know exactly what kind of career you want, put images of people that dress like that are doing that job. If you don't know what it is that you want career-wise, but you want something better, people who are smiling in their workplace and seem to be enjoying their work. Charity. One of the things that's on my bucket list, my intention list, is to be able to give abundantly to charities, organizations that focus on animal welfare. And so I will have pictures on my vision board of animals free of the shelters, empty shelters, and happy animals being pet. There's a festival in Asia, and I can't remember the name of the festival. And even if I did, I'd probably pronounce it wrong, but it is one day that celebrates dogs, and they shower them with flower petals and give them treats to thank them for their companionship. And it's always the most beautiful pictures, and I'll put those on the vision board too. Whatever your charity is, similar images there. Relationships. So this is separate from the romantic relationships. Maybe you crave connection with family members. You crave new friends. And you can have images of people at lunch laughing and having a good time. You can have images of mothers and daughters or fathers and sons just relaxing and enjoying each other's company. If you miss your family and would love to be reconnected with them, images like that. Faith. If your faith is very important to you, you wish you had more time to spend in the study of religious scriptures or to go to services, images of that. Clarity and calm I put as a whole separate category because many of us are in a really good place on paper, but wish that we had more calmness of mind, more ease in our soul. Images of people meditating, images of women and men at retreats, relaxing, eating healthy food, just feeling unburdened. There's plenty of images of those online. Fitness. Many of us wish that we had more time to exercise, to work out. You know, we all want to be a little stronger, but this is another category that I'm putting a little red star next to because I've seen it happen many times where people will put images on their vision boards of perfect, as society sees it, and near unattainable figures. So I caution anyone who wants to put fitness on their vision board. If you're putting images of bodies that are vastly different than yours and also make you feel bad about your own, please take those pictures down because that's not what this is about. This is far from beating ourselves up because we're not the person we want to be. It's about celebrating our path to where we're going while feeling good about ourselves now. So if you're going to put images that imply fitness, my suggestion is that they're pictures of active people, people who are very free in their bodies and enjoying what they're doing rather than stiff and unhealthily thin or so abundant in muscle tissue that you wonder if they ever have time outside of the gym. I just say tread with caution. As someone who herself suffers from body image disorder, I don't want anybody using this as a tool to perpetuate feeling bad about their bodies. Okay, and then the last thing that I would recommend, again, these are not all meant to go on one vision board. This is just to get your mind going. But this one category I do recommend everybody take advantage of, and that's the use of quotes. Words that you see on paper that stir you. Again, going back to my own Instagram, you'll see those all over the place. So feel free to steal any of the quotes because I've stolen them myself. They're most of the time not my own words. Put those words, print them out, type them out. Actually, if you like, you can just type out a bunch that you see on one piece of paper, print it out, cut them up. Again, doesn't have to be fancy. But those quotes should inspire you to feel good, to feel calm, to feel motivated, to feel like a boss, and sprinkle those on your vision board. Okay, so now that we have our images and we know that we're putting them in anywhere from 1 to 4 different sections, assemble. Have so much fun with it. Put them in places, move them around, have that candle going, maybe a little glass of wine if you like. And as you're putting those pictures down, start to feel it. And this is one of the important steps after you have it built. As you're looking at these images, can you imagine yourself not looking at those people in the pictures, but being the person in the pictures? This is so important, because if you feel as though those images are separate of and outside of you, you're telling the universe, you're telling God, you're telling source energy, you're telling the law of attraction to perpetuate it being outside of you. But if you're looking at those images as though they're predictions and going, I'm going there, I'm going to have that, I'm marrying that kind of person, I feel as healthy as that. If you're telling yourself that and feeling it even 1% more than you feel now, you just put your foot on the gas pedal. You can't see those wheels in motion, but they're moving, baby, and they're moving what you want towards you. All right, a couple of frequently asked questions. Where does it go? Now, hopefully we didn't get a bulletin board that is 6 feet long by 5 feet long, because I'm hoping you'll be able to move this around. The first place you're putting it is what kind of makes sense to you for the chunk of your day. So if you are work from home, it can be right behind your laptop so that you can look off to the right, see your vision board. If you're like me, then that thing kind of moves with you all throughout the house. Some days it'll be propped up against the bathroom mirror where I do my hair and makeup so I can look at that. And then I move it to the bedroom next to the bed so I can see it when I first wake up in the morning. All depends, of course, on how willing you are to explain all this to your family if you feel the need to, and how much you want to move it around. But if nothing else, have it be where you are the majority of the day in your home, which is why I really like it being on a lightweight poster board, because then it can move around. All right, what do I do with the crystal? You mentioned the crystal. Yes, the crystal fills in the gap when you're not in front of the vision board. Now, if you're doing this right, you're looking at the vision board a lot. Even if you have to make the effort to, a couple minutes a day. Sit there with your cup of coffee. If you're usually looking at your phone or looking out the window, spend a couple of minutes looking at your vision board instead. But when you're not looking at the vision board, take that stone with you. Put it in your pocket, put it in your handbag, set it next to your phone so that it goes with you wherever you go. And whenever you touch the stone, think about the images that you can recall from that vision board. You've been looking at it a lot, so you already have several of those images burned into your mind. Another image that I think about a lot that I achieved off of my vision board was one of the most challenging for me, and it was my wedding. I had an image from Pinterest of a couple on a mountaintop, and she's in a wedding gown, he's in a suit, and they're just looking out into the horizon, holding hands. And anytime I needed to go back to my vision board, I would think about that image. Only I feel the cold air on my face and on my shoulders. I could hear the wind whipping around. I could feel the feeling of holding a warm hand and looking out, not just into the horizon, but into our future together. And the more I went back to that image, the more it felt like it was coming. And last year I ended up getting married in the mountains. I'm telling you, this stuff really does work. But it got to the point where I didn't even need the crystal to go back to that image. But the crystal is going to be a nice little bridge to get you there. And you can find those dirt cheap online. Okay, we made it, we feel it, we placed it somewhere so we can feel it as much as possible. Now what? Look for signs. Again, this isn't just about making the vision board or creating an intention and then la la la, going about life. It's about going about life exactly as you were before, but with your eyes more open, with a film removed from your vision. Now you're looking for signs of what it is you're intending. You're listening for mentions of that job that you want. You're looking for someone that kind of looks like the guy or the gal that you put on that vision board, or instead of rejecting the idea of going on that blind date somebody wants to set you up on, you go, you know what? Sure. You're noticing when you feel better in your body. Instead of focusing on the sick days, you're focused on the well days. Because remember, you're manifesting those. If you're out and about and you see that car that looks just like the one on your vision board, instead of feeling bad because that's not your car, you're going, oh, there's a sign. It's on its way. Every time you see or hear or smell or taste or feel a mention of what's on your vision board, that's no longer a reminder that you don't have it. That's a reminder that you better get ready. And so, to the extent you can, you get ready. Prepare your home, prepare your mind, prepare yourself in every way you can before it arrives, for it to arrive. Okay, frequently asked questions, let's keep going. What if I feel bad when I look at the vision board? I hear that sometimes. Like I look at it and I'm scared. I'm scared, what happens if it doesn't show up? I'm scared, what if I did all this and I still don't meet the guy? What if I do all of this and the job still doesn't show up? What if every time I say it, I feel as though I said the F word on national television? It puts the fear of God in me, right? What if, as far as I'm concerned, isn't just a swear word? It's completely pointless, but understandable. We all feel it. Fear is nothing more than your brain, your body, your instincts trying to protect you from harm. And when something different comes around, instinctively, a lot of us respond with fear because that helps to push away something that's different and keep us where we are. But I saw something on Instagram today that I wrote down, so I keep looking over at my notes here. But as soon as I saw it, I wrote it down because I wanted to say it in this podcast. I don't have a credit for the quote because it wasn't on the picture, so I'm sorry. But it says, fear is an invitation to evolve. Fear is an invitation to evolve. It's so true. If you're looking at those images and they make you a little scared, don't see that as a reason to push it away. See it as an invitation to grow, an invitation to get into that new car, to meet the person of your dreams, to start the new job that's going to be so much more fulfilling, to embrace the exercise program that's going to make you a little sore, but get you closer to being stronger. Fear is an invitation to evolve. Okay. When people ask, okay, I did this vision board, but how exactly does this help anything show up? Well, I go back to what I said before. Having that connection and clarity to what you want, guys, that's going to help you bring about what you want, even if you don't believe in any of this. Even if you don't believe that feeling the feeling of having it can bring it to you, even if you don't believe that you're a co-creator with a stronger force to make your dreams reality, even if you're the most logical and I only want to hear science from here on out person around, I respect you too. And I got something for you there. You can't really disagree with that getting clarity and focus and blueprinting out your future will help you achieve your future. You don't build a house by just throwing a bunch of bricks and wood together. You have a plan. Well, this vision board is nothing more than, well, actually it's a lot more than, but it is the first step of a big and beautiful blueprint. It's going to help you go from here to there. And even if you don't feel those feelings, it will help because it gives you clarity. Now, I had this question asked to me in a recent keynote speech that I gave, and I loved this one. A woman asked me, the man that you married, did he look exactly like the guys you had on your vision board? And the answer was, not even close. The question really that I'm asked often, in this case it was more specifically, was, Will I get exactly what I'm intending on my vision board? And the generic answer is sometimes. Sometimes it's far better than you could have imagined. If you are intending something very specific, a gold Cartier watch, yellow gold, 18 karat, with 4 diamonds on the face, right? In that slender design, you know exactly what it is, and you want nothing other than that. If you intend that, that's what you will manifest. If you're intending something that is closer to a feeling, for me, it was the feeling of being loved deeply, being appreciated, respected, having a physical connection, having deep respect for that person, traveling the world with him, and being adventurous. In other words, what I was manifesting and trying to was much more the feeling of being with this perfect partner than it was a certain hair color, a certain height, a certain body type. I put images on there to help me connect with that feeling. But in the end, it's the feeling that I wanted. And boy, oh boy, was that the feeling that I got. So the answer is, it depends. If it's something specific and you want it bad, then it can be that specific thing. But if it's a feeling that you really want that's represented by images, then likely the image you end up with will be quite different, but feel just as great. Okay, another question, this will be our last one that I get a lot, is can I change the pictures on the vision board? Like, what if I change my mind? Of course you can. You're a grown-up, you can do whatever you want. My suggestion here is that you don't do it too often, because then what energy are we putting out there? The energy of indecisiveness, right? Of not knowing. It is, of course, okay to change your mind. You know what? I didn't want that car. I want this one. The important thing is that you feel a passion for what's on the vision board. But if we change it too much, then what we're really putting out there is, I'll take whatever I can get. So be focused as you can, but it's perfectly okay to change your mind. Now, for fun, I would recommend you also have a file folder handy, because those pictures are not staying on that vision board forever. We're not making this vision board so we can look at the same pictures for the rest of our life. What's the point? We're making that vision board so we can manifest what's on there. And one of the most fun things you're going to do after this vision board is take those pictures down. Because once you manifest that trip that you wanted, you take the pictures of Paris down and you put up pictures of Dubai. Once you find that partner of your dreams, you take those pictures down and you put pictures up of the puppy you want to adopt. Keep that file folder though. Don't just throw away the old images. It becomes a scrapbook of your success. And then you can go back and go, I remember when I wanted this so bad. And now I'm so grateful that I have it now. And you create an upward spiral that makes you feel better and better, and then propels you toward whatever it is you want next. So hopefully you see what I mean when I say it's so much more than just a bulletin board with pretty pictures on it. This is a really powerful tool, and one that you get to have a lot of fun with. All this time, and I didn't mention our sponsor, so I'll mention it quickly. I was having too much fun. It's thephoenixyoga.com. Visit thephoenixyoga.com. It's our website of our yoga studio that's here in Wayne, Pennsylvania. But through that website, you can also find online yoga videos. You can find the means to connect with me one-on-one if you'd like to have a one-on-one coaching session, and virtual classes as well for those who want to learn more about yoga, sound healing, wellness, and a whole lot more. thephoenixyoga.com. All right, your homework this week is really easy. Go make that vision board and have a blast with it. In our next episode, we're going to talk about this mysterious word called the universe. And what exactly does it mean? My name is Jennifer Coffey. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I'll see you and hear you, or you'll hear me next week on the Phoenix Podcast.